fancy hat you got there, Iz.
Thank you. Thank you. Got a little mini pearl action here.
I know. Why is it all cockeyed?
Well, this is the third position of a newspaper reporter's hat.
Oh.
You want to see the positions?
As long as they're clean.
They are clean. Ready?
Okay.
Off. On. Lock.
Ooh, kind of keeps your brains from leaking out.
It does. It does. And
well, cool.
in our profession, we have to do that.
I know. Well,
that's right. Hello, and welcome to your old news update. I'm cockeyed Izzy Fitz.
And I'm straight-brimmed Bud Driscoll.
Topping the headlines from yesteryear.
Well, let's go back to November 18th, 1935. There was considerable excitement at the Ralph Reed home at 120 South College at about 3:30 this morning when the family was awakened by shouts from the street. Oh! Now, opening the door, they were met by a man who they immediately saw to be intoxicated, Mrs. Reed said today. His wife was lying in the street, having fallen from the car in which the two had been riding, and the man told them that she had fallen out as he turned the corner, which the Reeds say they were inclined to doubt.
Yeah.
The woman, too, was under the influence of liquor, Mrs. Reed said. Well, the Reeds summoned officers who picked up the woman and got both her and the man into the car, and the officers drove them away. No record of the call could be found at the police headquarters today.
Must have been a cover-up.
I know you think the Reeds were kind of...
Yeah, must have been. Must have been. That was during Prohibition, too, wasn't it?
No, that was the 20s.
That was the
after.
20s?
Yeah,
Oh,
that was during the
after.
Depression. Everyone was depressed, so they had to...
All right, well, this was a heavy news week in 1935. Okay. November 19th, 1935, car driven by William Snyder of Brookville was demolished and strewn along a quarter-mile of the Union Pacific right-of-way Monday night when Snyder attempted to use the railroad track for a highway. And he was struck by the Pacific Coast Limited.
Oh, that's gotta hurt.
That's right. Snyder escaped injury. He was picked up by Sheriff C.J. Anderson and was being held this morning for investigation. I'd look into it, too. According to reports at the sheriff's office, the Brookville man was going west on State Street on his way home and turned down the railroad track at the crossing a quarter-mile west of town. Instead of turning west on US 40, the auto stalled, straddling the rails about a car length west of the crossing.
Okay.
Snyder had gone around to crank his car, officers said, and they saw the man coming, and then he saw the train coming, and then he jumped back. There's a warrant charging Snyder with being intoxicated, and it was issued by Sanford Manker, county attorney, late this morning. Well, there's some great names back then.
Sanford Manker, yeah.
Yep.
And they were all intoxicated.
Yeah, they must have been when they named their children.
I know. Okay, we're going to move on another day. A lot of 1935 action here. November 20th, 1935. Well, Happy Days returned to Memorial Hall Tuesday night when the month's pop concert of the Salina Municipal Band was greeted by a crowd that filled every seat and overflowed into entrances and hallways. It was marked by such disorder that today stringent rules were laid out. At the next band concert, city and band officials have agreed that no child will be admitted unless accompanied by a parent or other adult who will be responsible for that child's conduct. You know, part of the misbehavior of Tuesday night was the shooting of paper wads at others in the audience, raining them upon the band and other special performers on the program and upon the announcer, too. Perhaps the worst feature of the evening was that children on the balcony and gallery spit down on those seated below.
I think after a good spanking, I bet those kids had to go clean that mess up.
No, I would think so. I mean, if you can't listen to a band concert, what can you do?
All right, let's kick in the Wayback Machine.
Okay.
Broom, November 18th, 1910. A vein of ore said to contain zinc, iron, and lead is alleged to have been discovered on the farms of Gust Pielberg and Elmer Hedquist.
Another couple of colorful names.
4 miles north of Bavaria. The Mother Lode. The vein of ore on the Pielberg farm is said to be 90 feet under the surface, and the vein on the Hedquist farm is 60 feet under the surface. Two prospectors who came to Salina Thursday from Wyoming made the test. If the veins prove to be as rich as the prospectors say they are, Hedquist and Pielberg may be made immensely rich from the mines.
Wow.
Then you go down here a couple more. and asked if he believed a vein of ore containing iron, zinc, and lead existed on the Gust, Pilberg, and Elmer Hedquist farms north of Bavaria. A.W. Jones, professor of geology at Kansas Wesleyan University, said iron may be found on top of the ground in the hills in Saline County, but it is worthless, it being mixed with sand and so on. I have made numerous tests and have found that zinc and lead do not exist in any part of Saline County. Several years ago, it was thought that zinc ore had been found at the brick plant. I was called to make a test and found it was nothing more than a dark-colored gypsum. Just think what would have happened if old Gust and old Pilberg and Hedquist had actually struck it rich.
I know. You think that Jones character was a little...
Must have been.
I know.
I mean, everybody drank back then, it seems
I tell
like.
you.
That's right. Read more about the way things used to be in the Monday's Look Back section of the Salina Journal.
Hey,
in the Neighbors section.
That's right. And you have a great week, and happy Veterans Day to all you veterans. Even though this will actually be the day after Veterans Day, but we salute you anyway.
Thanks for your service.
And we'll see you yesterday.